Kilalanin naman natin ang ating national hero of the Philippines mula sa aking bisita sa FilCom Center sa Waipahu, Hawaii. Panuorin natin to. Dito sa FilCom Center sa Waipahu, matatagpuan natin ang statwa ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Kilalanin natin ang national hero of the Philippines. Rare is the national hero who made his name creating works of literature. Jose Rizal is known to the world for his iconoclastic novels Nole Mi Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Born in Calamba to a well-to-do family in 1861, educated in the Philippines and abroad, he went on to become one of the most cosmopolitan Filipinos in history, learning several languages and visiting several countries across the globe. What animated Jose Rizal's life was the perpetual struggle to better the Filipino people. In its earliest ideations, this involved trying to make Filipinos more Spanish, because to be Spanish meant to be civilized. Once this became impossible, it meant overthrowing them. But this was only the first thing to be done. Jose Rizal foresaw the challenges that confronted anti-colonial nations once the dust of the revolution had settled. Ridding the Philippines of one tyrant only to have it replaced by another would have been fruitless. Towards the end, Jose Rizal devoted himself to educating the Filipinos so that they could prevail in the world. He urged Filipinos to educate themselves about the wider world and, most importantly, our own inimitable culture. Jose Rizal was also the archetype of the diasporic Filipino. He earned his degree in ophthalmology in Spain. He might have been the first Asian ophthalmologist, imbibed European culture in the capital of the 19th century, Paris, opened his own practice in Germany, traveled across the United States, pondered the nature of Asian culture in Japan, and more. He even traveled to places in the homeland that few Filipinos go to. Exiled in Dapitan, Mindanao from 1892 to 1896 because of the force of his novels, he made himself into a teacher and opened an informal school for local children. Jose Rizal touched the lives of people everywhere he went, including and perhaps especially those of his lovers, women whom he seemed to have attracted in every place he visited. Despite the brevity of his visit to the country in 1888, Rizal understood America's essence. His observations capture the paradoxical nature of the country that would later welcome Filipinos, like the Manongs, but at the same time subject them to racial violence. He wrote, "I visited the greatest cities in America, with their grandiose buildings, their electric lights, and grandiose conceptions. America is undoubtedly a great country, yet it still has many defects. There's no true civil liberty. In some states, a black man cannot marry with a white woman, nor a black woman with a white man. The hatred against the Chinese is such that other Asian foreigners like the Japanese are confused with them by the ignorant and are seen in a similar light. Customs are excessively strict. However, as they say, it offers a place to the poor person who wants to work." The doctor's diagnosis was spot on. Sadly, he did not live long enough to provide the cure. For his activism on behalf of the Filipinos, Jose Rizal was executed by the Spanish regime in 1896. Even in death, he served his people. A revolution broke out following his murder. The name Rizal became the revolutionaries' code word. They were not alone. The idea of Rizal would go on to inspire revolutionary movements nearby in places like Indonesia and beyond. Since his death, diasporic Filipinos have gone on to commemorate Rizal Day in America, Europe, Asia, and elsewhere. Rizal showed that Filipinos could change the world. Indeed, they needed to. In his time, just as in ours. Maraming salamat, Donnie, for touring me right here at the Filipino Community Center. It's been a wonderful experience. Ladies and gentlemen, gusto ko po kayong ipakilala kay Donnie Juan. He is the new Executive Director of the FilCom Center.
Thank you very much for coming to taking time to visit us at the FilCom Center. We actually have our own gift made from the FilCom Center with our very own plumeria tree that we have.
Ang ganda naman. Maraming salamat, Donnie. And of course, please tell everybody what they can expect with the FilCom Center now that you're in this new position as Executive Director.
I've now been here as the Executive Director for approximately 5 weeks. I've got a great board of directors that support all our initiatives. we're planning a whole bunch of initiatives that will welcome everyone back to the community center to actually make it a real community center. Activities that involve the first generation to the fifth generation. So we welcome you to come back to lend us your time, your expertise and knowledge so we can help rejuvenate the FilCom Center. So welcome back.
And please, come to the FilCom Center, discover your roots, and be part of the Filipino community. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat sa ating mga kababayan sa FilCom Center. Pagbalik naman natin dito sa Kababayan Today, makakausap natin si Professor Rod Labrador ng University of Hawaii, Manoa tungkol sa kontribusyon ng mga Filipino-Americans sa mundo ng hip-hop. Panuorin sa pagbabalik ng Kababayan Today.